Freddie King never got to hear his own name called at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He'd been dead for 36 years by the time that moment arrived. But in a way, that silence tells you everything about one of the most consequential and most overlooked guitarists who ever lived. Here's what's remarkable. Eric Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Peter Green, Jeff Beck, some of the most celebrated guitarists in rock history, all went to school on the same records. And those records belonged to a 6-foot-plus, 250-pound man from Gilmer, Texas, who wore a plastic pick on his thumb and a steel one on his index finger. When he hit the strings, it reportedly sounded like metal striking metal. His name was Freddie King, and if you don't know it, that's exactly the injustice this story is about. He was born in 1934, the youngest of what the blues world would eventually call the Three Kings: B.B. King, Albert King, and Freddie King. No relation to each other. The shared surname was pure coincidence. Of the three, Freddie was the youngest by nearly a decade, and according to many guitarists who studied him closely, the one whose style translated most directly into rock and roll. His mother and uncle taught him country blues when he was just 6 years old. He later bought his first real guitar with money earned picking cotton. By 1950, his family had moved to Chicago's South Side, and the teenage Freddie was working steel mill shifts by day and sneaking into blues clubs at night. Underage, enormous, and determined to learn from every master he could find. Chess Records turned him down, but that rejection redirected him somewhere more fitting. In 1960, he walked into a Cincinnati studio and recorded a 2.5-minute instrumental called Hideaway. He built it the way a craftsman builds furniture, borrowing a boogie theme here, a melody there, assembling pieces into something no one had quite heard before. It reached number 5 on the R&B chart and crossed over to number 29 on the pop chart. A black bluesman's instrumental, selling to white teenagers, in 1961. That was remarkable. The British kids heard it, and their world cracked open. Clapton has described the experience of first hearing Freddie's playing as something close to a revelation. He learned Hideaway note by note. So did a generation of players who would go on to fill stadiums. Meanwhile, Freddie was still driving through the dark, reportedly close to 300 nights a year, from one small venue to the next, earning a fraction of what his influence was worth. His daughter has spoken about the structural inequity that allowed others to profit enormously from a sound Freddie essentially invented, while he remained largely invisible to mainstream audiences. By the early 1970s, things shifted. Producer and musician Leon Russell signed him to Shelter Records, helping introduce Freddie to the rock audiences who already, unknowingly, owed him everything. Clapton later signed him to his own label, RSO, and the two men finally recorded together. It seemed like Freddie's moment had finally come. But the road had taken too much. Decades of relentless touring had worn his body down, and in December 1976, he was admitted to a Dallas hospital. He died on December 28th. He was 42 years old. The Blues Hall of Fame came in 1982. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame came in 2012. Every honor arrived after he was gone. Go find the 1961 recording of Hideaway and listen to what taught a generation how to play guitar. If this story hit you, like and subscribe. There are more forgotten giants worth knowing.